Hey guys, it's Angry Weeb, and I'm back. Today we're going to go discuss a true multiversal level being and why Ichigo and many Bleach characters fall into this trap with other Powerscalers, the versus battle wiki, of lowballing Bleach characters because they are not destroying planets with energy beams or ki blasts. First, as I've always stated, when we are analyzing characters, I'm always going to try to reach back into canonized feats, manga, and primary sources. And I also want to clear one thing up, because it seems like, originally people were saying this. I don't hate the versus battle wiki. Ultimately, they are the best and the most inclusive database we Powerscalers have currently. But they are not perfect. In fact, they are very far from it. And they should be used only as a secondary source when 1v1 battle matchups arise, especially versus veteran Powerscalers. You guys have to understand that the primary sources, the manga, the data books, the author, and writer and author interviews should be placed well above any secondary source, not just the versus battle wiki. Yhwach is one of those characters who is either being lowballed, whatever community is doing Yhwach in the versus battle wiki, they have very little knowledge of the Bleach verse. For those who don't know, Yhwach is the son of the Soul King. The Soul King is the key or the glue to all of the worlds and realms of the Bleach verse. Yhwach is the father of the Quincy's. And because he is the father of the Quincy's, he has many of their abilities. Many of the vast powers you see, he had obtained long before he had even absorbed the Soul King. After absorbing the Soul King, it is undoubted that Yhwach is a multiversal level threat. I want to quote what Kiseki Ywach stated in regard to what the Soul King was to the world of Bleach. As you can see, yeah, exactly. Now, when you combine that verbiage with the fact that in chapter 621, Yhwach absorbs the Soul King. After absorbing the Soul King, he now has the power to shape every dimension and world within the Bleach verse. Now, let's say you make the argument that the Bleach verse is one universe, not a multiverse. Yhwach's feats would still constitute him no lower than universal. Once Yhwach absorbed the Soul King, it is safe to say he replaced him as the linchpin to the worlds of Bleach. After absorbing the Soul King in chapter 621, The Dark Curtain, Yhwach then proceeded to warp reality and reshape the Soul King's palace in chapter 621. And then completely warped the Soul King's palace into his own palace. So Yhwach has now, after absorbing the Soul King, he has now destroyed the Serente. Okay. And now he has warped all three worlds, the human world, the Soul King's palace, the Soul King's world, and the Soul Society, and Yhwach Mundo. He has replaced them and made them into one whole world where life and death is not the same. The flow of life and death has been changed. If you read and quote what Tokunada stated, you understand why Yhwach is multiversal. Tokunada states the Soul King can create and destroy worlds. A lot of amateur Powerscalers are unable to recognize reality warping feats. One universal feat that was also done by Yhwach was the changing of the density of the reshape in the world of the Soul King's palace. By changing the reshape in the world of the Soul King's palace, he demonstrated that he had complete control over that dimension. Understanding the Bleach verse is key to understanding why Yhwach is multiversal. When he changed the reshape within that dimension, the Soul King's Palace dimension, it was to assist the Quincy's in fighting the Soul Reapers. Originally, the Soul Reapers had the advantage as far as the Reiatsu that was in the Soul Society and the Soul King's Palace. Well, once he took over, he converted this dimension into a dimension where the Quincy's now have the advantage because of the high density of reshape. You have to understand that Quincy's use reshape to attack. So this was a big boost in power for the Quincy's, and it was a humongous display of power for Yhwach. We know the writer's intentions. Yhwach had already stated he wanted to destroy the old world and build a new one. Well, first, let me not say that. He did not state he wanted to build a new one. He just eventually ended up absorbing the Soul King and building a new one. He originally just wanted to destroy the universe, which is by destroying the Soul King, Yhwach has destroyed the universe. After killing the Soul King, the fabric of the bleached reality began to crumble. He then absorbed the Soul King and remade the world in the way he wanted. Understanding that Yhwach reconstructs the way life and death flow within the Serenity, and reconstructed all of these dimensions, the entire Bleach verse, you have to state that Yhwach is a multiversal level threat. Ganju also acts as a reliable primary source when scaling Yhwach as a multiversal level threat, because when he states that if Gargantua is destroyed, then it's all lost. To understand what Ganju is referring to is to understand how Tito Kubo module his verse. Gargantua is or a dimension of reshape that lies in between all of the worlds, all of the dimensions of the Bleach verse. Gargantua is the dimension that exists around all of these worlds. All of the dimensions within Bleach are of a different space and time continuum, and they all exist within Gargantua, as Ganju and Yorichi explains in this panel here. This is why Yhwach is undoubtedly a multiversal level threat. When we're talking about whether Yhwach is a multiversal level threat, I don't see why there's any way you could look at it. And here's why. With the absorbed powers of the Soul King, he has crushed all three of these worlds and made a new world. Each one of these worlds is from a different space-time continuum. That is the very definition of multiversal, being able to affect different dimensions and being able to destroy different dimensions or create different dimensions. He is the very definition of multiversal. It's so interesting that the Versus Battle Weekly is willing to put Goku in this universal tier or this multiversal tier, but Yhwach is stuck down here at 6B, 4B. Ridiculous. 6B, 4B, 6C, 5C. Yeah, this is ridiculous. It should be y'all should be tiered no lower than universal. And even if you're tiering Yhwach at universal with the absorbed powers of the Soul King, you're lowballing him. Base Yhwach, no Soul King power, is at least universal. If you're wondering how am I basing that conclusion, all we have to do is go and do our canonized research. Go and look at what Yunahana, a captain of one of the Gokutards 13, originally one of the Gokutards 13. She was killed by Kenpachi. She stated that if Captain Yamamoto's Bankai is left unchecked, it could destroy the entire Soul Society. So you're telling me if this guy's Bankai is unchecked, he could destroy an entire dimension? Also, the fact that Yhwach is the only Quincy that is able to take on Yamamoto's powers prove, and this is before the absorption of the Soul King's powers, prove Yhwach was on a universal level threat because Yamamoto was a universal level threat. A lot of these amateur power scalers in the verse, sometimes the versus battle wiki, they are truly lowballing the most powerful enemy Ichigo has ever fought. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why Bleach characters get lowball. A lot of times, this is why I say primary canonized sources are better for power scaling. Secondary sources are fun to use, but should not hold much weight when compared to canonized feats and manga. So please hit that subscribe and like button, guys. Make sure you hit into that comment section and let's discuss. This is Angry Weeb and I'm out.